Well, good day and welcome to episode 19 of The Driving Force presented by the Louisiana Transportation Research Center. My name is Todd Blunt. I'm joined today by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Garrett Wheat.
Good afternoon.
We are thrilled that you have chosen to join us here as we highlight the people and projects driving change in Louisiana transportation. For the past 39 years, LTRC has merged the resources of state government and Louisiana's great universities to identify, develop, and implement new technology to enhance our state's transportation system and beyond. One of our major areas of research here at LTRC is transportation safety, and we are continuing today in part 2 of an important and informative 3-part series featuring several of our partners from DOTD's Highway Safety section. On our last episode, we learned all about the Strategic Highway Safety Plan, and today we will dive into the next aspect of Louisiana's comprehensive safety efforts, the Highway Safety Improvement Program, or HSIP. To tell us all about it, we are excited to welcome Laura Riggs, DOTD's Assistant Administrator responsible for the HSIP. Laura is going to give us a nuts and bolts look at many of the specific measures Louisiana is taking to enhance highway safety for all of our state's road users. We'll step away for just a moment before we begin our conversation with Laura. Welcome back to The Driving Force. As we mentioned before the break, we're continuing our series today focused on highway safety. We have Laura Riggs here with us today to keep the conversation moving forward. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you.
Well, before we jump into the HSIP and the details therein, let's give our listeners just a bit of a sense of who you are. Tell us a little bit about your background and how your journey led you into your current role at DOTD.
So I graduated from LSU in 1999 with a BS in civil engineering. 2 weeks later, I started at the department, first doing the rotational program at LTRC. Then I spent several years in the road design section, first as a part of an in-house design squad, and then leading as project manager for the urban system program for areas greater than 200,000. Okay. After a few years, I went to the transportation alternatives program in the project management section. Then I went to the highway safety section to be the local road safety program and safe routes to public places program and project manager. Due to the encouragement of my supervisor at the time, I decided to get my master's in transportation safety administration from Clemson University in 2022, which helps me to become the HSIP program manager.
So turning our attention to that Highway Safety Improvement Program, it's mandated by federal law for one, so can you give us a high-level overview of what the program is, how it came to be, and what it kind of looks like?
So the important thing to remember about the HSIP program is it's truly one of the strictest funding sources that FHWA has, which is the Federal Highway Administration. It's a core federal program which has the purpose of reducing fatalities and serious injuries on all local roadways in Louisiana, which can include both state, local, and tribal lands. Okay. It requires a data-driven process, which is probably one of the things that makes it the most strict of all the other funding sources. We can't just put money on a project because we think there's safety. We actually have to do analysis to determine that there truly is a safety issue or area of concern for these locations. We're legislated under 23 U.S.C. 148 and regulated under 23 CFR 924, which those are the United States Code and the Code of Federal Regulations. Mm-hmm. And it has 3 components in the HSIP program. One is the Strategic Highway Safety Plan that Autumn talked about last week. The other is the second one is the Highway Safety Improvement Projects, which are the infrastructure types of projects that we fund under my program. And then there's also the Rail Highway Crossing Program, which is managed in the road design section back at headquarters.
Wow.
Well, let's dive into some of the details now. What are some of the major focus areas included in the HSIP? Any sub-programs that target specific populations or types of routes that you'd want to talk about?
So from our Strategic Highway Safety Plan, which Autumn talked about last week, we've identified 3 focus areas that we put our money on. And those are going to be roadway departure, intersections, and vulnerable road users. In the state, we also trigger the special rules for older drivers and pedestrians, and we incorporate countermeasures into the other types of projects that will also help hopefully reduce the fatalities and serious injuries for older drivers and pedestrians. And that often is a lot of things related to the retroreflectivity of the countermeasures that we put on the ground. We also trigger the vulnerable road user safety. Currently, if you have over 15% of your fatalities are non-motorized users, which here in Louisiana we are.
Really?
Yes. Then we have to spend at least 15% of our federal safety funds on projects related to non-motorized users.
Okay.
And that comes out to about 8.7 million for currently.
How does that compare to other states?
It's high. It's high, and it's here in Louisiana. It's rising.
Wow.
Really?
Right. For 2024, the number of people killed in vehicular crashes went down, but the number of pedestrians and bicyclists increased.
Really?
Crazy.
So in terms of our 3 sub-programs, we have the statewide program, which is focused on infrastructure improvements on state routes. We have the local road safety program, which again is infrastructure improvements only on local roads.
Okay.
And then we have the Safe Routes to Public Places program, which is non-motorized user projects that could be on both state and local routes.
Okay.
And when you say local routes, could this be a road in front of my house?
It could be, yes. It's a road not owned by the state or tribal lands.
Gotcha.
So anything like administered by like maybe a parish government or a city, town
Correct.
government. Okay.
So it seems to us consistency in both concept and practice is really a critical piece of what y'all are doing in highway safety. How do y'all team up with local government officials across the state to get alignment with what y'all are trying to do?
So for the sub-program related to the statewide program, we always recommend that anyone interested in a safety project start with the district. So the district is going to be the most familiar with the roadways in question, and they're going to know what projects are being considered and what types of improvements are being considered. If the district is in agreement that there is a safety problem there, they will submit a stage 0 to us at headquarters, and it will go through our projects. We do an evaluation at headquarters, and then we bring it in front of a project selection team meeting. For the local road safety program, those projects generally start with the Louisiana Local Technical Assistance Program. So they have staff members who are involved in project initiation. They talk to the locals, they try to get them involved. They use the data that we have on the local roads, including our new local network screening process, to figure out what roads the locals should be focusing on. Data. It all goes back to data. So then they do a call for projects, and then from there they have a process that they use to get projects into the program, which also involves a project selection committee meeting. So then the third program is the Safe Routes to Public Places program. So that is available for state and local roads again. We do a call for projects roughly every year to 2 years. It involves the local public entities putting in an application where they would like to have these non-motorized user improvements constructed. We go through a very similar evaluation process using multiple types of data to rank the projects, prioritize them, and then vote them in through a project selection committee meeting.
What I hear when you're describing these processes is that none of this is haphazard at all. It's all very, very intentional. It's all very, very well vetted. And as you mentioned, all very data driven.
It has to be data driven. We have a lot of safety needs in the state, and that's where we need to focus our money on.
On our last episode, Adrian and Autumn introduced the safe system approach to highway safety. So tell us more about that and how the principles in that approach lead to the proven safety countermeasures that the FHWA has put together, and how you and your team apply these principles here in Louisiana.
So the safe system approach is a strategy that focuses on eliminating fatal and serious injuries in transportation systems by acknowledging that humans make mistakes and that we need to build redundancies into our systems. So the principles of it are that, death and serious injuries are unacceptable. So we need to do anything that we can to reduce those. And that humans make mistakes. You should not have to die because you made a mistake in your driving patterns.
Well, not only you make a mistake, your vehicle, you get a flat tire,
Correct.
Something like that.
humans are also vulnerable. Our bodies cannot handle a lot of the forces that are impacted upon it in a crash. Responsibility is shared. It's not just my responsibility to protect myself. I need to make sure that I drive appropriately so that I don't hurt other people. We need to make sure that stakeholders are involved, that governmental agencies are making improvements where they can, that advocates are involved to help bring awareness to where some of these locations are, that we do research to make sure that we're finding better ways to manage some of these crashes, and that we should be proactive. We should not be waiting for the crashes to occur to then decide that we should be addressing a particular location. But the most important thing is that redundancy is crucial. It's called the Swiss cheese model. If you have so many layers, redundancies to, if you do have a crash, then you will hopefully, you have so many redundancies built into it that hopefully the crash won't be as severe. So the objectives in the safe system approach are safer people, which is the driving behavior, safer vehicles, making sure your car is maintained, things aren't falling off, safer speeds that you drive, the set of speed that has been established for that roadway, post-crash care, so that if you are in a crash, you can get emergency response quickly and get to the hospital quickly if that's what your needs are. And then finally, safer roads, which is what we focus on at the DOTD Highway Safety Program for the HSIP program. So in order to focus on the safer road aspect of the safe system approach, DOTD uses the 28 FHWA proven safety countermeasures. And so those countermeasures are broken into speed management, pedestrians and bicyclists, roadway departure, intersections, and other cross-cutting countermeasures, such as lighting, local road safety plans, road safety audits, and measuring pavement friction continuously. Specifically here in Louisiana, the types of countermeasures that we use could be for roadway departure, doing enhanced striping, going from a 4-inch stripe to a 6-inch stripe, going from easier to see, more visible at night, which again is one of the things that we consider for older drivers and pedestrians. If you can see it better, if you have reduced vision, then that will hopefully keep you on the road.
Also see it in the rain? See it in the rain.
We do have pavement markings that are specific for areas where we're having wet crashes, where the data is showing that we have wet crashes. We could also be doing striping in, horizontal curves to just kind of bring more of a pop to the driver, so hopefully they can see that at night. We also consider shoulder or edge line and center line rumble strips, again giving you that tactile warning that you are veering out of the lane that you're in. We've also done several projects that have involved installing cable barriers to hopefully reduce crashes where you might leave your lane and hopefully not go into the lanes traveling in the opposite direction.
Are those typically interstate?
Interstates with wider medians, higher speeds. We've also done safety edge, which is pretty much included on every single preservation project, so that if you do veer off the lane, it's easier for you to get back in. It kind of gives you a
gentler.
Yes. In terms of intersection crashes, we often focus on backplates for retroreflectivity, so that it kind of makes the signal pop a little bit more. We've also done dedicated left and right turn lanes at intersections, reduced left turn conflict intersections, and the installation of roundabouts.
Garrett,
my favorite,
is here for it. He loves the roundabouts.
So for non-motorized users, we do a lot of high visibility crosswalks, leading pedestrian intervals, which is when you're at a signal and the timing of the signal changes so that pedestrians get to walk for a few seconds before the lights for the vehicles turn green. So it kind of makes them more visible. We recommend a lot of medians and pedestrian refuge islands, road diets, giving pedestrians a shorter distance to have to cross, and then sidewalks and shared use paths.
Are there any other countermeasures that DOTD is implementing that may not be the quote-unquote official FHWA countermeasures?
Yes, we have been installing a lot of flashing yellow arrows at signalized intersections across the state, on both local and state routes. The benefit of it is, in previous iterations of the signals, it would be a green ball. And it would be like, okay, you can go, but people would still think it was green and I can just go. By changing it to a flashing yellow arrow, it's telling them, hey, with caution, you can take a left.
So it prioritizes caution rather than
straight out going. Yeah. that you would think with a green.
I know. We just had one of these signals changed in one of the main intersections I travel through every day, and definitely, like it does, it signals in my mind when I see that yellow, like, okay, stop and watch. I mean, of course, I knew what the green ball meant, but there is something like psychological about it. So I appreciate that.
Do you have any success stories you could share as a result of the HSIP? Or on the flip side, where do you see Louisiana's greatest challenges in the area?
So for success stories, I would say the Gardier Sidewalk Project here in Baton Rouge. When I was in the Transportation Alternative Program and even in the Urban System Program, I would receive phone calls regularly from the citizens of that area begging for a sidewalk. Several people had been killed on that roadway because they did not have a safe place to walk. So we, unfortunately, in DOTD, we do not maintain and operate sidewalks, and so it has to be a priority of the local public agency to want that infrastructure improvement. And it took a while, but finally the city of Baton Rouge did prioritize it, and they submitted an application to the TAP program. And so at the TAP program, you have to put up a match for the federal funds. And one of the weird quirks of our program is that we can help provide that match for the locals if you have the data that shows that this is a location that needs the safety infrastructure improvements. And so we worked with the TAP manager at the time, and he sent us a list of projects, and someone in our staff looked at all the data and came back and identified that this was a good project where we should put a match to it. Awesome. So one of the things that I like is it's a road that I often drive on, and I see not just one or two people, but like 6 or 7 people walking down. And so like to be able to see a project that I was involved with, that we helped fund, help a community that desperately wanted this improvement is very fulfilling to see.
Awesome.
Great.
Now, as far as challenges, since we are one of the strictest federal funding sources, safety really needs to be considered at the beginning of the project implementation. Because we can't just put money on a project. We have to go through our process. And so our challenge is often that, a lot of people are just wait till the last minute, like we need additional funding, but we know we have a safety problem. And it's like, okay, but we still have to go through our process. We still have to do our evaluations. We still need a stage 0. We still need to bring it to a project selection committee. And so we are working with several of our other programs that we would like to combine our funding with to hopefully identify locations at the beginning of the project, to identify these locations where we can add what can often be low-cost safety improvements like the upgraded striping, the upgraded signage, or even something more expensive like widening a shoulder so that you have a little bit more recovery area for the driver, and you can add a rumble strip. So that's one of the challenges, is just trying to identify these locations early on before they really start the design.
So let your money go further.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Laura, for being here with us today, for everything you and your team are doing to make Louisiana's roads safer for all of us. Said this on our last episode, and I think it bears repeating. It really would be difficult for us to overstate the impact of the work y'all are doing every single day. Before we go, we want to have just a little bit of fun with you and help our listeners get to know you a little bit better. We have a few final lightning round questions. Garrett's going to ask these. Just don't think too hard. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself. Garrett?
Yeah, so we understand you love to travel and have visited a lot of America's national parks. So could you share which one is your favorite to visit?
So if I were going to recommend any, there's 3 of them. So the first one is Crater Lake in Oregon.
Okay.
It is a volcano that erupted thousands of years ago, created a lake, pure, there's no stream, there's no running water that's into it, so it's pure snow melt and water. Wow. It's some of the bluest water you've ever seen. You can swim in it. There's like a little island in the middle of it. There's a stick that's floated around for over 100 years. So, I mean, it's great. I think everybody should go there. Then the other 2 would be Zion and Bryce Canyon in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. We've also heard rumors you're quite the skilled home baker.
Yes.
Okay, so what is your go-to dish to make for others, and do you have a favorite you make for yourself?
So my personal favorite would be carrot cake with a homemade cream cheese frosting.
Yes.
And then what I like to make, the easiest ones that people seem to enjoy.
Don't say it's the easiest.
It's truly very easy. It's no baking. It's a chocolate eclair cake.
Oh,
I had one of those just last night.
Yeah. So
Good.
It's good. And then I also like, we have a birthday coming up in our section, and I'll be making a blueberry lime pound cake with cream cheese frosting.
just let us know.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, last question. As you mentioned, your master's degree is from Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
And you hold 2 degrees from 2 universities with tiger mascots. So we have to ask, which school has the real Death Valley?
LSU. They also have the best mascot. I don't know if you've ever seen Clemson's tiger mascot, but it is not healthy. So,
Good answer.
Yes.
Correct answer.
You pass.
yes.
All right. Well, thanks again, Laura, for your time, for everything you have shared with us today. Super informative, super helpful. It's an honor to have you with us as our guest, telling us more about what you do and why it matters. We'll take one more quick break before we wrap up today's episode. Well, that's a wrap on episode 19 of The Driving Force, presented by the Louisiana Transportation Research Center. You can learn more about what's happening at LTRC on a daily basis by visiting us online at ltrc.lsu.edu or on social media through Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We encourage you to like, follow, and subscribe to our channels on each of these platforms. You can also get more information about the Highway Safety Improvement Program by visiting the Highway Safety website and downloading the plan. We'll link to that in the show notes as well. We hope you'll join us again for our third and final episode in our series with highway safety. Next time, we'll welcome Jessica DeVille and Jared Shomo as we take a deep dive into how Louisiana is collecting and using a wide variety of data to enhance highway safety. Until then, we are your hosts, Garrett Wheat and Todd Blunt. We thank you so much again for joining us today. Say this on every episode, but even more appropriate today, drive safely out there.